everyone. Welcome to Book Club.
Hello.
James Bond, Ian Fleming on Her Majesty's Secret Service. We are at episode 4 of the series and episode 18 of Book Club itself. I am amazed that I just kept track of that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My PayPal, no, I'm just kidding. Oh, man. So we will not be having Russ today. Russ is gallivanting in Universal Studios. But we hope he's having fun. Tracy is snowblowing his driveway and will hopefully join us shortly. And now we have chat. Who do we have in chat? Let's see. We got Tim Pruitt.
Hey, Tim Pruitt.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, chat. Hey.
Hey, Katrina Scolpini. Welcome in. Rhonda Lee. Tina McNeil, my neighbor to the west. And I think I have everyone so far. Oh, it's gonna be a book club. My voice keeps cutting in and out because I seem to have acquired somewhat of a cold, I'm sure. And so if I start sounding like Peter Brady, this is why.
Peter Brady.
All right, so today we're going to be discussing. Oh, first I want to give a shout out to Dean from the Live Place, who doesn't host the show, but he hosts a lot of our other shows. So if you don't know what the Live Place is, go check it out, www.theliveplace.com, for all of your family-friendly YouTube TV guide. All right, I got the chat. Annie Cool, welcome in. All right, so this week we read chapters 9 through 11, not chapters 7, 8, and 9.
Right. Yeah. Good job.
Thank you. Got that right. Because I was about to reread the same chapters until Kristen and Tim was like, no. So we fixed that one quickly. All right.
Well,
so
for a minute you had me. I thought I was confused, so I had to go back and think about that.
I was trying to think. We did 1, 2, and 3, and then we did 3, 4.
No,
5, and 6.
we just did 1 and 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8. That's what the first time we just did 2 chapters.
I got all mixed up. So, all right. So we left off. Bond was getting ready to go try and pull the wool over Blofeld's eyes. We're gonna find out if he succeeds or we're not, because this is only 3 chapters, and I don't think it's going to take that long or short to determine that. So, actually, I'm going to take a drink. I'm going to keep talking. So, chapter 9, we start off with he's at the London airport, and he's got his bowler hat on, rolled umbrella, his neatly folded Times, and he felt faintly ridiculous. I'm sure, because he's used to being dressed as Bondish and cool and the tuxedo and whatever, I don't know.
Not nerdish.
Not nerdish, yeah. And I like this. So at the beginning it says, at the ticket desk, when he had been addressed as Sir Hilary, he had looked behind him to see who the girl was talking to, because he just forgot he was not him. So I really like that. So I really liked how descriptive these, especially the whole 3 of these chapters is. I really enjoyed this a lot. I'm gonna attempt to not talk a lot because you can hear my voice is cracking still, and the more I talk, the more I'm gonna lose it. So I'm hoping that we can just go around and okay, why Carlos, welcome in. And no, we are not dressing in bondage. No.
Thank you, Carlos.
Oh, Carlos, I love you to death. I do. All right. So I
like the description of Bond in this, but every time I listened to it, I kept in my head imagining Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade when he goes to look at the tapestries.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it's just so out of character for the character that that's the feeling that I got from Bond when he's trying to be a nerdy professor assistant.
And if you saw the movie, this has always been a movie I didn't watch often because it was an odd Bond character that was in. And I know we're not doing movies, but in the movie he looked the part. I mean, he had a houndstooth. I think Sherlock Holmes looking hat and tweed jacket, and I mean he really looked like a nerdy professor in the movie. So that's what I was seeing when I was. But that's good though. I forgot about Harrison Ford doing that.
Yeah.
And I've never seen really. I've seen bits and pieces of the Indiana Jones movies, but I know what that part is. Okay, do not roll your hand at me, mister. Don't even start with me. Carlos can back me up on this. Right, Carlos?
Well, Carlos hasn't seen any movies, so that's like
true.
That's no backup at all, Tina. That's no excuse.
Yeah, I wouldn't use Carlos as an example. Not for movie watching.
I'm not the only one. I'm not alone. I'm in good company. Oh, we're gonna leave it at that.
Okay, we can take that.
Okay. All right. Moving along. So he quickly does he get into character? Is that what he does? Or he gets out of character, he relaxes and just tries to be himself, I think is what happened.
Yeah, a little bit. He was trying to
He kind of gets it under control.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. All right. So go ahead.
And then he has the interesting plane ride.
Yes, he does. I love the descriptiveness of the plane ride too. And I just read this today, and this has just got wiped from my brain. Now, Fräulein, whatever her fancy pants is, Irma Bunt, there she is. So she was with him from the beginning, personal secretary to the Count. So she meets up with him, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
And were they on the plane at this point? Or no, the desk inside the door. A woman was standing beside the reception counter. Okay. Mm-hmm. So she met him. They boarded the plane. Right? Missouri?
He was in Zurich. He landed in Zurich. I was just trying to make sure I was right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Swiss Air.
Well, and I thought, so this whole time I'm thinking I'm just suspicious. I was suspicious from the get-go when they were devising this whole plan because Blofeld's not a stupid guy from what I understand of him.
No.
Carlos says, what's her name? I don't know. Irma is Fräulein something or another. But whatever it is that I said. I was thinking he's got to know that
Irma Bunt.
I keep wanting to say Blunt. I don't know why. He's got to know that Bond, that they're going to alert the MI or whatever it is, that the intelligence, and that, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I guess this is what I would be thinking if I was a mastermind villain. I would be a little privy to the fact that, these people, if they get wind that someone's looking for a Blofeld, they're going to report it to the authorities, So I'm already suspicious going into this chapter and the next ones.
Well, what really got me was he kept asking, well, where are we headed? What's our destination? And she would just say, the Alps, and that was it.
Yeah. And I don't know. So Bond describes this woman, which I think is hilarious because she reminds me. If you've ever seen 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, there's a woman that works. How was it, the aquarium or something that he volunteers at or works at or something. But she looks like the spitting image of this woman that is being described. So I thought that was hilarious. So I have a complete vision of this woman.
See, now you're getting into movies I've never seen. So.
Oh, it's a good movie. Good movie. Okay, Carlos, if you'd like to join us, wink, wink. All right, I'm still on the first 2 pages. All right, so he has this nice little flight. And I think where'd my screen go? Okay. So there we go. All right. So he's having a conversation with her, and he says, "Where are we heading for?" And then she pretends not to hear him, and Bond repeats his question and then shouts it, and she says, "Into the high Alps," and I'm not going to pretend I can even make the accent, even though that was kind of fun. And she shouted it back, and then she waved towards the window. "It's very beautiful. You like the mountains, isn't it?" And so he says, "I love them. Just like Scotland," he says. And so,
maybe not quite, but
yeah. Then they get to he sees the Zurich seas to port, I don't even know. And he's estimating, like, he's calculating the estimates, like about 2,000 feet in the air. Let's see. Takes out his Daily Express out of his briefcase, and he turns to the sports pages, and then he envelops himself in it, every once in a while, bored, looking out of the window. And I love this part, of course. I'm going to get so made fun of for this. But while he's flying over, he's thinking in a few minutes he would be flying over Tracy. So he's obviously thinking of Tracy at this point. And yeah, those are all my favorite parts.
it's just a thing.
Yeah. All right. So
it's hard. I tell you, the thing that's funny about this to me now is that I'm assuming, and probably read this and don't remember it, but he's following by looking at the ground and the mountains to figure out where they're going and where he's at. It's hard for me to imagine today not knowing where they would be. You'd have a GPS tracker, or you'd have a satellite image, and you'd see where Blofeld's lab was, if you will. I mean, it's up on the Alp, and people obviously know it's up there, but it's kind of like they don't have a clue where he's at, really. They're trying to figure that out. And so he's thinking and recording all the valleys and the river and the towns and the ski resort. And, finally he arrives at, when they come into a landing, but it's like he doesn't have a clue. Like they don't have a clue where his lair is.
The whole thing with flying over Tracy, I have trouble. I can't decide if Bond really has feelings for her, as in love feelings for her, or not, because he just like, oh well, there she is down there, and well, at least she's got snow. And I mean,
is it casual?
Yeah.
Or is it something else?
But she is on his mind a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think normally in his business, or if you're into the Bond business, I think you tend to put people out of your mind once you've used them or gotten what you needed, or for lack of a better phrase. But in this case, I think she's still on his mind. I don't know. Maybe that's not anything, but
yeah. And I think that's the only time that she's mentioned in this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Which is interesting, because then they're going to start getting into, what the mission is of. Well, they're already into what the mission is, but I was expecting, like, I guess, I don't know. I guess so. All right, I'll save it for when we get further in. Okay, so these let's see. I'm gonna. I just want to get to the part where they land. Bear with me. Okay, so they've landed. And it looks like my brain literally went out the window with this. This is to your satisfaction. The yellow eyes. But is she in? See, all these, like, all these foreign words, and I'm losing. All right, so they land. They head to the building. And there was one part that I want to find. Go ahead, Chris. You talk.
So he, if you're talking about the part I think you're talking about, when they land, she goes to the desk and flashes documents, and he catches a glimpse of her paperwork and sees a German word, which I took to mean like some sort of federal police or something like that. And he figures out that Blofeld sort of got the police in his pocket too now. So
right.
Well, they talk about how he's gotten the city or the town below to help him build the tram up to from the bottom of the mountain up to the top, and how that he's trying to figure out where he got that kind of money, or is that a bond issue with the city or the town or the village. So it's like, he's putting things like that together to see what the local connection or ties are.
Right.
I thought.
Well, and so the descriptiveness of this place is that it's like a ski resort.
Right.
Yeah.
And when they get inside, so he's like describing the building, an oblong of yellow opened invitingly as the woman went in and held the door for him. And he's, so that's what I was thinking of. I'm thinking of, and I think I might have, I don't know if it was this movie or another movie, but I think I've seen it. Like the type of car that's on a cable car. And gondola. Yeah. And it takes you up to the ski resort inn or whatever. So that's what I'm gonna call it. But then when he gets inside, he discovers that this count, who is Blofeld, right? Technically.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And
and she always calls him Count. I noticed that too. They've already, so he's assumed the title of Count, whether he officially is or not.
Well, that's what confused me, because he hadn't got the confirmation yet, and he was already calling himself Count.
Right.
So, and I think it's interesting because if he does have the police in his back pocket, they didn't think to check his credentials to see,
And two, it could be more that he's bought this web of people there that consider him the Count, whereas he's needing this documentation so he's more internationally recognized, like we were talking back earlier.
Well, that's true. That's a good point.
So
that's true. All right, so
Sean Connery a little bit. Like the old. I mean, I know he just passed. He was, but it's like when I picture what they're describing, it the whole attitude and him, getting into character, and it's like I picture Sean Connery.
Me too.
The whole thing,
Yeah.
Me too. And you don't know whether who's double crossing who, but you think you'd like to know that. Okay, yeah, they're buying whatever he's saying, but hopefully,
the other thing about this, I was thinking as I was reading this, or particularly this part, because there seems to be so much unknown about Blofeld in this, and yet they suspect he's part of Spectre, which is a big deal. I mean, I don't know how many books the Spectre group was actually in, but that's a huge international criminal ring. It's always trying to, take over the world.
Yeah.
And if they even suspected that he was part of Spectre, it goes back to what Tina or somebody was saying, or Chris, about how do they not know who Bond is? I mean, they probably do no more than. So I thought that was odd that they didn't kind of put those two things together, but I haven't got to the point yet where that's revealed if he actually knew who he was from the beginning. But
right. I'm going to welcome in Garrett, Monarch Moments, Lisa,
hey, Garrett.
Chloe from It's Show's World, Kelly says, "Hey, Bunch."
Hey, Joey.
Hey, Kelly. Who else? Did I miss anybody else? I think that's everyone. All right.
Joey did a great job being Mulan last night. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh my gosh, I love that, and I thought that was interesting because the day before I watched the live action version for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So
He was awesome.
that was a lot of fun last night.
Yeah.
I was wondering what I thought they were when everyone was talking about the hitchhiking ghosts. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna do hitchhiking ghosts." Totally threw me for a loop. Got me good. So it was nice. All right, so. All right, so she shows him to his room and she explains the Institute, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce these words. The Institute for Scientific Research. The Count is a leader in the field of allergies. This is like hay fever, the unableness to eat shellfish. Yes, and Bond says, not really. Can't say I suffer from any of this. She's asking him if he understands.
Yeah.
So then she says the laboratories are in a separate building. There, the Count also lives in this building where live the patients. He asks that you will not disturb them with too many questions. The treatments are very delicate. You understand? And Bond says, yes, of course. And when may I see the Count? So he's trying to get to the bottom line. He wants to see the Count. And he says, he's busy. He's got to get back to London. He's got stuff to do. And she says, yes, of course. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, you'll be able to see him. Tonight we have, what is it? It's a dinner, 6 o'clock, where they meet in the bar. And she says that the doors don't open from the inside. If you want to be let out, you have to ring for someone to come and let you out.
Kind of bad if there's a fire.
Well, yeah, this is all just like I'm thinking of all this stuff and I'm going, this is kind of sketchy. Like I'd be like, I'd like a hotel, please.
Mm-hmm.
Like no, thank you. But it's Bond and he knows what he's doing and he plays it cool and he stays in character and does what he has to do to get the job done. Something dinged. What dinged? That was not me.
Oh, that might have been my phone. I'm sorry.
No. I'm so used to StreamYard will ding for me when somebody comes into the stream. And so I thought, maybe StreamYard, Restream does that. And so I thought maybe StreamYard update it and maybe someone was coming in from book club. But anyways, sorry, tangent. Okay, so she leaves him. He needs an extra table to lay out all of his work. They bring him an extra table, and he wanted to be left alone with his thoughts racing. Proceeded to unpack, take a shower, and make himself presentable for. Oh, that's the other thing. Apparently, there's going to be a nice brigade of girls waiting for him in the bar. So I can only imagine at this point where the heck this is going to go, because we know that his mind is tunnel vision focused on Tracy. But we also know that Bond likes girls. So this is my brain's like flying at this point, wondering what the heck is going to happen. All right, so thus ends chapter 9, and then we head into chapter 10, the title being 10 Gorgeous Girls. Of course. So he heads down and he describes it. It was one of those leather padded bars, bogus, masculine, and still, because of its newness, smelling like the inside of a new motor car. And more description. He heads inside. And Fräulein Irma Bunt greets him and introduces him to the girls. And like, there's all these names like Ruby, Violet, Pearl, and Elizabeth Beryl sounded in his ears. But all he saw was a sea of beautiful sunburned faces and a succession of splendid sweatered. I'm not going to say the rest of that. Because apparently I'm 2 and I can't maturely just say it. So he goes on to describe it. Someone else take over. I'll be right back.
So one of my favorite lines, though, in the description of this, the bar, is that it was not, Bond decided, a place to get seriously drunk in. Like,
no.
He knew going in that he needed to kind of control himself in this environment, but at the same time, sort of like Tina said, women are kind of his kryptonite too. So I kept feeling through this description that Bod might, there's a chance he might slip up and let his disguise kind of falter a little bit here. Maybe this was a way of them kind of testing him as well, possibly.
Yeah. And a lot of them weren't drinking alcohol apparently, so I think he noticed that and thought maybe that wasn't, he didn't want to, well, but like you said, he had to keep his wits about him. So
Yeah.
Something else I picked up on, and this is pure nerdy trivial, but they're at a laboratory or an institute for allergies, but they smoke. I mean, I actually half expected her to say, you can't smoke here, but hair bond, do something like that, but that wasn't an issue. So apparently they didn't think that was an issue back in the 60s.
Yeah.
But, that would have bothered anybody with allergies. But anyway, that's just a little nerdy thing I picked up on.
Okay, I'm going to go on a slight tangent for 1 second because Jason just delivered something to me.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. You got it.
So, but here's the thing. It wasn't delivered by the mail, UPS, or FedEx. It was delivered in a black Jeep in an Amazon box. So, thank you to whoever sent this, first of all. Second of all, now my interest is completely piqued, and I want to know what the circumstances surrounding this are. So.
Oh, you have no idea?
No, haven't a clue. No return address, nothing.
But it was addressed to you, or no address at all?
No address. I don't know. He didn't. Oh, hold on. What does it say?
I would be a little suspicious.
Join us next week for book club when we'll cover chapters half of 10 and 11.
Oh, it says no. It's addressed to me from Amazon.
Maybe they delivered it to the wrong house.
No, it's my address. My name, my address.
Maybe the truck couldn't get to your house today.
I don't know.
It's definitely a mystery.
Seriously. So thank you. If one of you that are watching the stream right now sent me I wanted this so bad. I had it in my Amazon cart, save for later. I was gonna get it. So thank you, whoever did this. I appreciate it. So all right, so back to book club because I totally distracted you guys. I'm so sorry. All right,
Amazon does use private vehicles. Yeah.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, I've had that several times. Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. Okay, good to know. Well, thank you to whoever sent that. I'm trying to think of I don't know, because I did.
Somebody said it smells like Garrett. I was thinking that too, but maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. You guys are tricky, man.
Garrett says nope. I don't like Tina. Just kidding.
Yeah, Garrett and I don't get along that well. We're not the best of friends. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, so where were we? Where are we? I should say in the book.
So we were drinking in the bar, meeting the girls.
That's right. Now, okay, so are they all blonde, or are there some different colored haired girls in this group right here?
I don't remember that too.
I just remember that they're all English, and there's no.
Yeah, they were all English and no surnames, right?
Yeah.
Which in itself, I don't know. Maybe that's not so odd.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. 10 girls.
And he thought that they looked like working girls, meaning airline attendants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Am I missing people from chat? Hold on.
Kelly's here.
Is Infinity, Daniel. That's who I meant to welcome in.
Okay.
When I was doing my tangent. Okay. Yeah, lots of girls. Girls. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, there is Kelly. I didn't see her come in.
All right. So he strikes up a conversation with Ruby, or should I say?
She struck up a conversation with him.
Right. And she seems nice enough. She says, "I'm Ruby, The voice was friendly but refined. It must be quite an ordeal being the only chap among all us girls. And so they get into conversation, and he's like, she asks him if he's got a grip on all the names, and he's like, no. And so she tries to give him the rundown of who's who, and then this colored shirt, and dressed like this and that. And then he tries to bring an icebreaker. So he makes this game of, a big jug of water, and puts like a napkin over it and a coin in the middle, and then you have to like light holes in it or something, and whoever makes the coin fall into it pays for all the drinks, if they were paying, because all the drinks are free. But I guess normally if you're in a bar, this is how they would determine who's going to pay for the drinks or something like that. I don't know. Interesting. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And so then so Bond's doing this. I love this line. So Bond says, now then, and it said Bond, feeling like the game's director on a cruise ship. I thought that was so funny. And so they have the game. The girls are all like excited over this, and it's wonderful. And I think before this, that I forget to mention, was this before this, that he tries to butter up Fräulein Irma Bunt by talking about her genealogy and the prospect that she might be a duchess, because he's trying to get on her good side too, and he's trying to find out her name, because he wants to find out who her parents are. He wants to know what her background is. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. That's just kind of fishing for clues.
Yeah. He used that as an excuse to try to get other surnames, which she shut him down real quick on that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then they have dinner, and he wants the chicken, and Ruby is all excited that he's getting the chicken. Like, I don't know who gets that excited over chicken. I get that excited over steak, but not chicken. But
So
she seemed, what?
I said, so we've heard.
Yeah. And so now it's 7:30, and he feels exhausted. And he goes into, let's see what happens next. I'm trying to skim along here. Is that it? Yellow eyes gleam with academic enthusiasm. That is an interesting question. Because he asks her, let me find it. I think it was like what is the difference between a piz, which is P-I-Z, and an Alp and a Berg? And she gets all academically enthusiastic. So, but then at the end she says, I cannot help you. But she goes after this long spiel, which I thought was interesting. And then she says, what do you ask? And he says, in my profession, the exact meaning of the words is vital. And that's when he gets into her genealogy and stuff. So that was after. For some reason, I thought it was before. I thought I missed it, but I didn't. So good. Let's see. So then he goes back to his room, right?
Yeah, after dinner. Yeah.
And I think that was.
I was trying to get the exact chronology here. I was trying to catch up too.
And so I didn't make clearly enough highlights as I should have, but so at 10 o'clock he heard the good nights of the girls down the corridor and the click of the door shutting. He undressed, turned the thermostat on the wall down from 85 to 60, switched off the light, and lay on his back for a while, staring up into the darkness. Then he gave an authentic sigh of exhaustion for the microphones, if any. Because that's right, because he thought maybe his room was mic'd. He thought maybe all the rooms were mic'd.
And watching with a camera too. He's pretty sure there's a camera in there.
Right. So then he turns over and goes to sleep. And then much later, he is awakened by a very soft murmuring that seemed to come from somewhere under the floor, but very, very far away. He identified it as a minute. He identified it as a minute. Minute. That's right. Minute spidery whispering that went on and on, but he could not make out any words, and he finally put it down to the central heating pipes, turned over, and went to sleep again. I think that's going to be key for later. And now we go on to the 11th chapter. Does anybody want to say anything about chapter 10 before we move on?
One thing I wanted to bring up before that kind of struck me when he's going to bed that night and he's still talking to Fraulein Bunt. She explains why all the girls only go by don't have surnames, they just go by their first name.
Mm-hmm.
It's that it's part of the Count's treatment.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
that he has these special theories that one day will change the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that the Count will explain it to him when he meets him tomorrow. So I thought, well, that's an interesting way to, I guess, describe a supervillain. So
He also made a point, and I guess I was trying to figure out if this was the answer, but he was trying to figure out why all the girls seemed to be very enthusiastic about what they ordered. I mean, one ordered a steak extra rare, somebody else ordered, something else, and it's like,
and the potatoes.
Yeah, and the potatoes, and I think it was. Didn't they play that off as well? That's what they were allergic to and couldn't have it before or something. Was that? Does anybody else? Did I pick up on that, or did I just think that?
No, that would make sense. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, maybe that's why they were so excited.
Or it could have been a conditioned response, if you know. Well,
True.
I shouldn't say that because that gets ahead, but
yeah,
probably. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, so now we're on chapter 11, our last chapter for this show until next week, and the title is "Death for Breakfast."
Kind of an ominous title.
Yeah.
I was like, I read this and I was like, oh, dun dun dun, because something's up. James Bond awoke to a scream. It was a terrible masculine scream out of hell. It fractionally held its first high, piercing note, then rapidly diminished as if the man had jumped off a cliff.
Thrown off the mountain.
Fell off the mountain. Gotta be, yeah. And even in Bond's room, even though it was muffled by the double windows, it was still terrifying enough. Outside, it must have been shattering. So he rings for someone to come, and this Peter guy comes, and he inquires about what that noise was, and the guy says there was seems to be an accident. You wish for breakfast? He produced a large menu from under his arm, and Bond persists to ask what kind of an accident, and Peter says it seems one of the guides has fallen. And then Bond asks him if he was badly hurt, and he says, "Possible, sir," and it says, "You wish for breakfast?" Obviously trying to change the subject.
Mm-hmm.
Bond eventually, takes the menu and orders breakfast. And then he opens up the window and sits by it and turns the heat all the way up to 90 to counter the cold that was coming in from the window. And he hears the girls that are outside chattering. And, they're all talking about what happened. And apparently, this Sarah person told on this guy who was clearly doing stuff that he shouldn't have been doing, or trying to do stuff that he shouldn't have been trying to do with her. And so they go into talking about how, let's see. So the girls are talking, and it says,
one of them said that, like, well, he deserved her, or he had it coming to him because of the way he had acted.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That it was sort of like a karma type thing.
Or like an act of God.
Meanwhile, Bond is thinking, well, it's someone that went outside of Blofield's permissions, and he had them offed, basically.
Basically.
And the waiter
So-
was being so vague. You know, that was strange. Like, oh, I work on the inside, so I don't know anything, and I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we didn't talk about this either, but he was supposed. They said he was one of the Yugos with the Yugoslavian. That was something else Bond pointed out. He had looked at all the help around the lodge and figured out that they were all a mixed bag of countries or people who may have supported Spectre at one time. So again, the Spectre thing is looming. They're thinking Spectre, but they haven't quite put that together. Well, he's kind of putting it together with Blofeld, but they said there's like 3 Russians and 3 Yugoslavians and 3 something else, and it was a real mixed bag of henchmen, for lack of a better word. Oh, there he is.
Hey. You okay?
I so hate snow.
You ready to move to Florida?
Let's see hold up your hands. You're okay? Everything's clear? Okay, all the pieces? Good.
I did not stick my hand in a snowblower.
That's good.
You do that once and you learn.
Man. So were you all caught up?
Yeah, I read chapter 11 last Thursday. I was all the way up. So yeah, it's pretty cool. That guy was killed because he was a creeper.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's what they said.
Yeah, and I wonder so all the chatter that happened the night before when Bond that woke Bond up, where he heard the whispering, that was probably confrontation from that guy and someone else, right?
I think if you've watched the movie, you find out it's something else totally. But it's weird.
Don't spoil it, Tracy.
No, I didn't read ahead, and obviously you got the movie, and I started watching the movie.
But Tina hasn't seen it.
Huh?
But Tina hasn't seen it.
Well, I started to, and then I didn't like it, so I turned it off.
It's not Sean Connery, so that makes a difference.
Yeah. It's the only one Lazenby did.
So, I mean, I know what would be 9 and 10. I thought they were interesting. This chapter here was pretty good, and this is where we get into the meat and potatoes of what's coming up. And I guess they all like the sun. I don't know about you, but I don't see sunbathing in the middle of the Alps is a good idea.
So you notice that recurring theme too,
well, the sun's pretty intense at that elevation, but it's still cold.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact,
I'm telling you what, it's cold outside. I'm not going out there to sunbathe.
Well, he had to turn the heat up to like 90 degrees when he opened the window. I'm like,
right. So here you got these women outside, and you know that, and you touched on there's no last names other than Bun.
Yeah.
So
when he first went into the lodge, he also commented on it was really hot inside. And in fact, at first he turned his thermostat down some in his room because it was so hot, which is another thing. If it's that hot inside, you wouldn't think they'd be out in the cold sunbathing again. It's a contrast of things.
Yeah.
Who's guys give her a break? She started to. Oh, started to.
Started to, not starting.
Okay. All right. So, where are we? We are. All right, so the girls.
And Tina McNeil. Yes, most people know not to stick their hand in a snowblower.
And now so does Tracy.
That's what it's Tracy. So I'm popping on real quick. I do have to go up and pick Billy up from work at 4. So.
All right.
I just wanted to make sure that I didn't want to forget you guys at my driveway. That was a lot of snow.
I'm sure there was.
I mean, New York City got more than we did, so.
Wow. How much?
Jason,
I bet you I got about 12 in between, and then you got the snow drifts, and then you got the plows. So, and I have 2 entrances to my driveway, so I have to do it. I posted a video once of me snow blowing last year. It's not fun.
Yeah.
So,
Alright.
So I got to come in and make Tina laugh. Do we go back to chapter 4 at all?
Oh. Listen.
No, but she wouldn't describe the women in the bar.
Oh, you mean with the bosoms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got to that word in
How did you
stop.
go
It was
straight
weird.
to that, Tracy? You went straight to that point, to the exact thing.
She read it word for word up to that word, Tracy, and she stopped. I don't know why.
Did you memorize it, Tracy? I mean, how did you just throw that out so quickly?
It's Bond.
Oh my god.
And Tina.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I said, and you. Never mind.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
hello, Gina. How are you?
Good. How are you?
By the way, I'm Tracy, not Teresa.
My husband was actually snow blowing earlier because we're in southern New Hampshire, and it took him like almost 2 hours to do the driveway. So, yeah.
No, we're
Yeah,
not,
Garrett.
Tina.
Oh
Garrett.
gosh. All right.
No, Garrett. No.
Oh gosh, Garrett.
Those are my initials, by the way.
Oddly enough.
Oddly enough.
Oh god.
So,
All right.
so chapter 11, he kind of, I mean, to sum it up, I mean, you got 5 minutes left. So, like,
Yeah.
I think sum it up, it gives him some inside information, you know?
Yeah.
He and you come to find out that this guy, the bobsled itself, you know, I think what he learns out of there is the bobsled's not a way for him to escape.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So are we assuming he was pushed?
Oh, I think he was absolutely pushed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You don't cross Blowfield.
No.
Yeah, I guess not. Jeez Louise. So, all right. So let's quickly wrap it up. He after breakfast, Fräulein Bunt goes and takes Bond to see the Count. And when he gets to see the Count, he is not what Blofeld looks like.
Which is pretty cool, because in the movie before this, they have a different actor, because Telly Savalas plays Blofeld in the movie, so it's actually a different actor playing the same character.
Yeah.
But this is Blofeld, right?
This is Blofeld, yes.
So he just disguised himself very well.
He had cosmetic surgery. He must have known about these differences that he needed to perpetrate being a count, or the count of this family. So he must have went and did the cosmetic surgery to make him look the part.
Okay, that's really wow. I told you this guy's not stupid.
No. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna bounce real quick. I want to say thank you for hosting it. I'm sorry I was running late, but
Bye.
I will be here next week, hopefully.
Mhm.
If I don't get stuck.
All right.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, Tracy. Be safe out there.
All right. So, so this, I mean, Bond pretty much tells him about the character traits and says that he needs a little bit more time for research in order to have a positive outcome. Correct?
Right.
Cliff
And-
Notes version I'm trying to do at this point.
And Blofeld tells him that he's happy to help in any way to try to expedite it or complete the work needed.
Yeah.
Basically.
And so it looks like Bond is sticking there for the entire week.
Mm-hmm.
And then he busily gets to work, and that'll lead us into chapter 12.
Right.
Yes.
So next week we'll do 12, 13, and 14, right? I'm going to write this down so I don't get confused again. All right. Any last thoughts before we close things up?
So
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Now, this is going to be interesting because not everyone here has a channel. So, Tim, do you have anything you want to promote?
Hopefully I'll be on Saturday again this week. And last Saturday I actually had to cancel because my computer crashed on me. But if everything's working this Saturday, hopefully I'll be on.
Mm-hmm.
And I I shouldn't promote this. Last week I got a call from Mike Wheeler and asked me if I knew I had a show on. I said no. Apparently I had set something up for like Thursday afternoon and didn't realize it, and it came on without me. So, or at least it popped up without me.
Okay.
It was a couple rookie mistake. I didn't even realize I'd done it.
It happens to the best of us, I feel like.
Well, hopefully it's not just me.
Yeah, no. All right, Chris, how about you?
So I'll start out with the good news. Saturday night I'll be on with Carlos on Carlos's channel. Shep will not be on, so me and Carlos are going to be temp Sheps for Saturday night.
Nice.
So you got a voice box ready, or whatever it's called?
I have one. I'm naturally good. I don't need a voice box. So
that's a good answer.
Yeah, that'll be Saturday night. Thursday I go in for surgery, so you may not see me around a whole lot Thursday, Friday. I've got 2 surgeries coming up. The first one being Thursday on my wrist, arm. So I'll be around, maybe not as much Thursday or Friday, but yeah, just let everybody know. So
we'll keep you in our prayers.
That's it.
So, all right, and Gina, Classy Disney Mom, right?
yeah, I have a YouTube, but I don't have anything on it. I just because I'm on a lot of streams. Mm-hmm. So, and when I made my Instagram, I'm like, Classy Disney Mom and then Gina Prawn, and for a long time, no one knew I was the same person.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you for glad that you were able to join us. Oh, kitty cat.
Thank you.
Very, very excited for that. So
thank you. Fun.
We'll try this again next week and hope everything goes well. Russ popped in the chat. Russ, if you're still listening, I'm sorry. I did see you. I meant to say hi to you, and I got distracted, probably by girls and bosoms and stuff. So, all right, guys. I just had to get one little laugh in there. Have a great week. I will see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. for Wednesday Whateverness. And don't forget to think of a wonderful thought and a merry little thought.
Thank you. Bye-bye.